Ulam good. Magkain na daw? Di pa? Ba?
Video ka?
Oh.
Ka-play?
Di pa man kayo magkain?
Hindi pa.
Okay. All right. Number 18. How are your relationships with your friends now that you're 18? I have cut off some people before I turned 18 because I do think that those people are absolutely pointless now that I am going to college with completely separate courses from you, and let's just pretend that we don't know each other, because just know I want to cut you off. Please don't talk to me anymore and move on with your lives. I am not doing anything to you. Please let's just move on. So, yeah. Number 19, the 19th question. Do you have a love life? If yes, what have you learned from it? I've had 3 ex-girlfriends, and there are a lot of things that I have learned. The first one is you can never be too sure about someone, because those 3 ex-girlfriends that I had, I was incredibly sure that I was going to marry them, and yet we broke up. So that's one of the lessons that I've learned. I should never be too sure about a woman, because they can leave at any time. The next one is just do your best. Like, remain authentic at all times. Like, just never pretend that you love that person for the sake of the fact that you could tell the rest of the world that you have a girlfriend. Like, you should actually love them genuinely and wholeheartedly, because if you don't, that relationship will crumble very quickly. And another one would be what else have I learned from these lessons? Oh, right. Just have a girlfriend. Like, if you love each other genuinely, and you haven't had a girlfriend before, have a girlfriend. Like, that could be any woman that you're attracted to who also is attracted to you, and you now have a mutual understanding. You can ask them, can you be my girlfriend? She says yes, and then boom, you now have a girlfriend. Even if that relationship didn't work out, it is still incredibly valuable that you've had a girlfriend in the first place, because from that point you now have a foundation of learning from your relationships and your love life, where you can then branch out into other more attractive women, and then you can improve on yourself and improve on your behavior and everything about you, and then you can branch out to now more attractive women, and boom, jackpot. So don't really be ashamed that you have more than 2 ex-girlfriends. I have 3 somehow. And yeah, just be yourself. And those 3 lessons: you can never be too sure about someone, always love someone genuinely and wholeheartedly, and if you haven't had a girlfriend before, have a girlfriend, because that will that will be your starting base for when you will be attracted to more beautiful women, or and this is possible, that girlfriend that you've just had will be the one that you actually will have for the rest of your life, and you're golden. Okay, the 20th question. What does an ideal relationship with family or a partner look like to you? I don't really have a preference when it comes to family, but with like a partner, there are some criteria that I have. It's a bit high, so apologies. Uh, One, you have to be attractive, of course. Then next one is my preference is someone who's chinita or light skinned. Someone who's morena and attractive, oh, okay, sure. But my first preference would be a chinita or light skinned woman. Then also someone who is shorter than me because I like shorter women, not really short women, but just shorter women. Like my height, like their height will just be on my shoulder, and I am very good with that. Taller women, I am a bit terrified about taller men. No, more or less, like I. What do you? How do you say this? I'm already terrified at taller men. What could it? What could? All right. Let me just phrase this properly. I am terrified at taller men. Well, I'm a bit scared and intimidated at taller men. I am even more horrified and terrified and scared and intimidated at taller women. So I do prefer shorter women. Those women at the height of about 5'6" below. What else? Someone who's smart, or at the very least can, understand politics. Those kinds of individuals, or those kinds of women. You don't have to be incredibly smart. I am not that. I am not a smart individual. But you should have a bit of IQ in your brain, so we could understand each other. Yeah, that's basically my ideal partner. Of course, I'll almost never get an ideal partner. It's almost impossible. But that is my ideal partner. Right. The 21st question number 21. What do you love most about Filipino culture? That we're very hospitable people. Like when we see someone at the door and there's someone begging to just be fed some food, we wouldn't really say no. There is a chance that we will give some food to that person because we feel a bit bad. We do have empathy as Filipinos, and we are devout Catholics, and the Bible does teach us to love one another, and we do love one another. Next, the 22nd question. How do you take pride in being Filipino? Pride Month. No, I'm just kidding. I take pride in being Filipino to the fact that we are so incredibly proud and hyped when our nation or nationality or someone who is Filipino or even remotely Filipino is mentioned in anything popular. Like if there was a Filipino in Mr. Beast's video, we would watch it all the time. Alright. Oh. Okay. Yeah, how do you take... Yeah, if we would watch a Mr. Beast video, we would simply just watch it all the time. Next. In what ways do you want to help your community? help the community, give money. I don't know. Next, do you believe in traditions like the debut or Filipino superstitions? There are some superstitions that I believe in. The uh, I can't really tell you any superstitions that I believe in, but there are some just at the back of my mind. Uh, the debut, like what they mean by the debut is when a woman turns 18 or when a man turns 21, that's called their debut, and that's the time when they're like actually independent and out there, something like that. I don't know really, but you know that yeah because of the fact of how my sisters were born, my younger sister will have their debut earlier than me, because by the time my younger sister turns 18, I'll only be 20, and I have to wait another year before it's my turn to do this debut thing. I don't really mind if I don't get the debut thing, because what's the point, basically? But, yeah. Number 25. Does your culture influence the decisions you make now? Well, there's just this mix of Filipino and Western culture that is just fused in my head, and some, like my family, would even say that I have been incredibly influenced by Western culture. Well, no. Well, at least not really. I have been influenced by Western culture. It's just that Western culture that I was influenced in is actually good, because I live in a conservative nation, and this conservative people simply just aren't really the best for this nation to move forward and to progress as a world class country. Like someone would say, the right thing to do is neither easy nor popular. So, I am a pro abortion individual, while this nation of Catholics, of like this nation over 85 million Catholics, the vast majority of them would say, no, that's not what God wants. Hey, is there a passage in the Bible that says you can't kill a fetus? I don't know. You tell me. But we shouldn't really base on ancient texts into what we do in the modern world, just because that's not really how anything works. So, no, just don't be pro life if you just base it on God, because what will God do? Kill you? Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Next, views and opinions. The 26th question. What's your opinion on the social issues in the country today? The social issues in this nation can easily be solved if we just elected actually competent leaders. Corruption, poverty, extrajudicial killings. What else? Education. Like all of these things that I just mentioned to you right now, and so many more issues in this nation, can easily be solved if we actually elected competent leaders. But the thing about us Filipinos is we never elect people based on policy. We always elect them based on personality and popularity, which is not the right thing to do. Also, the first past the post system, where you simply just choose one person and whoever gets the most votes wins, is also a pretty bad system to elect a representative Congress, but it's the system that we have now. Yet, it's we fail the system before the system fails us. Like, the system of first past the post is pretty bad. Duterte was elected with about 38% of the popular vote. But he had the most votes, so he was elected, which is a pretty bad system. But then again, now that he is no longer elected, it is now in The Hague, he somehow has become even more popular than he was about 9 years ago. The Filipino society is just dumb when it comes to politics. We're just dumb, to be honest. Next, what are your thoughts on social media and mental health? Hello. What are your thoughts on social media and mental health? I don't really have any problems with social media because, I have content all across social media, but the connections between social media and mental health are huge. Like, there are correlations that when you use social media often, or too much even, there is a chance that your mental health will simply just go down. So there should be some restrictions put in place into what people can post, what people can say, what people can see, and what people can do on social media. The next, if you became president, what would be the first law you'd pass? This is something that would not be answered by anyone else, but I have a proposal on the top of my head called the Congressional Expansion Act, where we would have to amend the Constitution to expand Congress to make it more representative. So basically, let me just explain my proposal a bit. For the House of Representatives, all of these tiny districts will become even bigger and even larger because instead of one district, one person, there will be one district, 4 people, and those districts will have 1 million people each, more or less. That will be up to the Commission on Elections to divide the lines. And yes, the Commission on Elections should be in charge of these changes, because if we were going to allow the legislators to change these boundaries, gerrymandering will happen. Just look up the definition of gerrymandering. I don't want to explain it here, but the Commission on Elections should be the one in charge of drawing the district boundaries for those districts to have more or less 1 million people. Then those districts will be using the single transferable vote system instead of the block voting that we currently use in the Senate and the first past the post system that we use for the House of Representatives. So, this system that I have in mind is just way better. Also, for the Senate, we should expand it from like 24 and make it about 250. Like, our Senate should be 10 times larger because 24 people only representing 150 million people. No, that should not be the reality in our country today. It was a reality back then. We had less than 80 million people, but now that we do have over 150 million, we should have some changes to our constitution to make our Senate and House of Representatives actually be full of representatives, people who represent our society. Next, how do you want to contribute to the change or progress of the Philippines? Well, there is one thing that I could do to one of those things that I could do is to make the people aware of these these changes that should be made into the country, like what I'm doing right now. uh, there's also another way: give to charity, for like to give to charities that help the poor, to feed the poor, to clothe the poor, uh, to nourish the poor, those things. Yeah, those are the things that I could do. And finally, what is your message to other young people who are about to enter adulthood? Well, uh, one thing that I could just say is just live. Just live your life and do what you can, do what you want, and do everything that you have to do, because you're only 18. There's a lot of responsibilities that you can do, but also a lot of fun that you can do. Just balance it out and you're golden. You're good to go. Anyways, that is, I think, that is it for now. Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in on this long Q&A thing that I'm doing to myself. And yeah. Bruh. Bruh, looks so odd this angle. Alright, I think that is it for now. Thank you so much for watching this entire episode, or listening to this entire episode. Bye bye.